I'd like to thank our reader, Nancy Wirtz, wasn't she adorable, for the wonderful reading today, and Gary Lynn Floyd, as well as our own CSL music team for the beautiful music. We're in week 7 of our series, This Thing Called You, each week independent. We've covered a lot of ground so far. Living in joy, aiming for what we want, watching our thoughts, because it's done unto us as we believe. And the lesson this week is a great reminder to be aware of what we're thinking. We continue our 2023 remarkable journey and learn to watch what we think and be aware of those unconscious thoughts, the ones that perhaps we don't realize are directing our lives in a direction we'd rather not be taking. Our topic today: mirror, mirror of my thoughts. In Philippians 4:8, we read, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." So the question I have for you today is this: what is the one choice you can make today which allows you to think about the lovely, the admirable, the praiseworthy, and also recognize your thoughts are things, and the things that you think about, you bring about? One more time. What is the one choice you can make today which allows you to think about the lovely, the admirable, the praiseworthy, and also recognize your thoughts are things, and the things you think about, you bring about? We learn to realize today that our life is a mirror of our thoughts, be they conscious or unconscious ones. In our philosophy, where there's really no hell and no blame, we don't think about a damning power, but rather about a benevolent one, the one power of which we're all a part. As we said last week, I and the Father are one. Yet, how many of you still blame yourself when something goes wrong or when you make a mistake? Heavens, you're not perfect. You might remember reading this about a power that damns, or about hell and the devil this week. We're reminded any belief in a power that damns, or a hell that waits, or any devil is false. There is no damnation, no judgment coming in or passing through me. There is justice, knowledge, right government, divine guidance without judgment. This does not mean that I accept lies or think that mistakes are as good as right actions. It merely means that divine intelligence operates through me without confusion, calmly, forward, moving, progressive, upward, spiraling, outward, reaching. I am guided by infinite wisdom into that light which is eternal. So, just because there's no judgment, it doesn't mean we accept lies or think mistakes are as good as right action. It does mean that we let go of damning ourselves when we make a mistake. It does mean that we recognize in everything there is something we can learn, and divine wisdom is guiding us. We're guided by infinite wisdom into the light. Remember that. So many of you know that I was with some friends this week from California and from Oregon. They were visiting in New Orleans for family Mardi Gras weekend. One morning, I was so upset, and my thoughts were pretty angry ones that definitely disturbed my own peace. And I let it bother me for a much longer time than I normally would have. I was upset that the way that I had planned things was not happening. Wow. I totally lost my ministerial self, my real self, my true self, and I let the events on the outside consume me. Blame? Oh, yeah. I was definitely blaming someone else for the events of the morning. I certainly forgot what Nancy read. Wherever I go, I shall meet peace, joy, and happiness. I was so far from that peace, joy, and happiness. When I finally dropped my guest off and took a breath, I realized how my thoughts had taken me down that rabbit hole of blame and how I allowed my thoughts to steal my peace. Let's be honest. We've all pointed the finger at someone else at some point in our lives, right? And where did it get you? I don't think to a peace of calm. I rather doubt that. As Emerson wrote in his Spiritual Laws essay, as a man thinketh, so is he. And as a man chooseth, so is he, and so is nature. We don't escape who we are or what our thoughts bring about in our lives. Start blaming others and notice that peace and calm fly right out of that window. I love what Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote in The Power of Subconscious Mind. You are living in a fathomless sea of infinite riches. Your subconscious is very sensitive to your thoughts. Your thoughts form a mold or matrix through which the infinite intelligence, wisdom, vital forces, and energies of your subconscious flow. So how do we start living consistently without blame? And from that place where we know our thoughts are powerful. Begin by believing what you think about, you bring about. Because I certainly brought about some uncomfortable moments in my life last week. If you read chapter 7, you might remember that Dr. Holmes said that having the consciousness that God is in everything enables us to see perfection and harmony in people and in affairs. Our topic is Mirror, Mirror of My Thoughts. Remember the witch? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Why do you think she saw the pretty young girl? Because deep down she believed she was not the fairest. We all do the same thing a lot of the time. Ever say, oh, I'm getting so old, or I'm so clumsy, or whatever it might be? Starting a sentence with I am is asking the universe to sit up and pay attention to what you're saying and make certain that you get it. Or how about this one? My poor aching body, knee, back, hip, feet. It keeps me from doing whatever. Again, what are you affirming? This is not to say that we ignore pain, and don't focus on it. Stop focusing on what you don't want. Focus on what is possible, the perfect health that you are, the abundant being that you are, the graceful person that you are, the ageless soul that you are. How we use the law of life, our individual use of it, is our creativity. Think about this. If we believe there is but one life, and that everything is a part of that one life is available to us right now, wow, what do you think we might do? What if every word we spoke, yes, absolutely every word we spoke, we considered that we were looking into a mirror and exactly what we spoke was coming directly and immediately back to us? Duh, it is. In the reading today, you heard, since this law acts like a mirror, When you withdraw old images of thought and place new ones in front of this mind, this mirror of mind, the old reflections and conditions cease to exist, and the new ones take their places. I love what Holmes said about this in a related reading in a Science of Mind magazine back in August of '71. He relates this to us being broadcasting stations. It's fascinating to think that we are both mental broadcasting stations and receiving sets. And it will be even more wonderful when we learn to broadcast only the kind of messages that we wish to have returned to us. This is one of the secrets of life. Now that's one of the secrets of life that we each need to be embracing, especially since it's not really a secret. Might you be able to believe that you're a broadcasting station and also guided by infinite wisdom? In Lesson 42 of the Course in Miracles, there's this line that says, "You cannot but be in the right place at the right time." Wow. We cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Can you imagine what believing that would do to our thoughts of self-doubt or self-blame or self-shame? Holmes put it this way in our chapter for this week: believe that you are governed by divine intelligence, that you are directed by divine guidance. Know that everything you say, think, or do that is constructive is done through divine authority. Hey, sometimes I doubt that. It seems like I do silly things or make mistakes that I know better than to make. I was caught a while back by the Drug Enforcement Act scam. And when I finally realized it was a scam, I felt really stupid and upset I wasted over an hour of my time worrying. I say often, in every way, things are in divine order. And yet sometimes that's difficult to accept, especially when things appear to be going wrong. And sometimes even when they appear to be going right. I actually wonder if it's too good to be true. We have to develop our spiritual muscle to remember that we're not separate from the divine. The divine is moving in, through, and as us in every minute of every day and directing us to our good. We have to monitor our thoughts. In New Orleans this past week, even after I had let that aggravation go, I kept thinking how silly it was of me to get upset and to complain. It's easy to fall into that trap and blame ourselves over something in the past. If it's in the past, release it from your thoughts and replace it with something better. It's truly a spiritual practice to monitor our thoughts and those unconscious statements we're making to ourselves or about others, so that we can realize the truth. There is only one life. That life is God's life, and that life is our life right here and right now. Think about this. If we're truly a part of the one life, then what are we waiting on to know the truth about who we are or what we're capable of becoming? Ralph Waldo Emerson, in Tune with the Infinite, wrote this: "Thought is not, as is many times supposed, a mere indefinite abstraction or something of a like nature. It is, on the contrary, a vital, living force, the most vital, subtle, and irresistible force there is in the universe." So I would say that reminds us that it's our obligation to know when we place blame and shame and point the finger out there or even inwardly, we're forgetting the truth of who we are. We truly are a product of our thinking, not in the sense that we have no control over our life, but in the sense that we have all control over our life. It's about our thoughts. And we truly are guided by infinite wisdom always. Check it out. Notice your thoughts. Shift them when you're not being served by whatever it is you're thinking. Remember the mirror. It reflects back to you what you're thinking, directly and exactly. It's done unto you as you believe. The divine presence can only do for us what it can do through us. And Ella Wheeler Wilcox, in the Science of Mind magazine way back in 1943, wrote an article called All of Success Lies in You. Here's a few of her words of wisdom from that article. Thought is eternal in its effects, and every hopeful thought which enters the mind sets vibrations in motion which will help minds millions of miles distant and lives yet unborn. If we all believed that our hopeful thoughts helped minds that were millions of miles away or minds that were yet unborn, do you think we'd be more conscious of what we were thinking and make our thoughts a mirror of what it is we wanted to see in our lives and on this planet? I imagine we would. So in summary, how about you remember that your life is a mirror of your thoughts? Well, you could remind yourself that there is no power that damns. Blame and judgment come back to us. So let go of self-judgment and blame. Life is a reflection of our beliefs. Remember that God is in everything. It makes it a lot easier to see harmony and good. The law acts like a mirror, reflecting our thoughts, so stop believing in any limitations. We're guided by infinite wisdom. Everything is always in divine order. So listen up. You cannot but be in the right place at the right time. You always are right where you're meant to be. So here's your affirmation for the week. How is it I so easily and willingly make the choice today to think about the lovely, the admirable, the praiseworthy, and also recognize my thoughts are things, and the things I think about, I bring about. Your challenge for the week is this. Pause a few times every day and notice what you're thinking about. Perhaps even set an alarm on your phone to remind you to do that. And observe and notice if your thoughts are loving and kind. Remind yourself you're guided by infinite wisdom. And forgive yourself if those thoughts are not for the greater good of yourself or for others. Let's pray. We take a deep, nourishing breath. We go within to that place where we know the divine, where we know that guide that guides us through this experience that we're having on this planet. And what I know to be the truth is that we are each deciding right here and right now to incorporate the spiritual practice in our lives that allow us to remember that right where we are, God is. That everything truly is in divine order, that we truly cannot but be in the right place at the right time. It is so true that what we think about, we bring about. So I know that this week we are making an effort to think about those things that are praiseworthy and admirable and loving and kind, and bringing those about. So I am grateful. I'm grateful for this time that we've had together. I'm grateful to know that I am indeed guided by infinite wisdom into that light of love. So it's with great gratitude that I release these words into the law of mind, spirit, and action, knowing the truth, that right where we are, God is, that we have asked and it's already been given. The answer is yes. Unequivocally, yes. So I can just say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is. I thank everyone that continues to give of their time, their talent, their treasures, and allow this community to be prosperous and continue to be a part of their lives. Thank you very much. Enjoy our offertory song.